Alright, howdy folks, welcome back. Get my headset on here. So this is Dubai and the United Arab Emirates that got hit today. Their airport got flooded. Also, we were looking at the earthquake in the Philippines today. This so-called 6.8, which we're going to talk about that tonight. By the judge, looking at this damage in these videos, it looks like it was a little stronger, and we'll go over that a little later. So, a couple of events that happened here today. So, our SEEDS satellite is still not having any data updates lately. So we're just going to come over to this site real quick. Not much to look at since our big eruption on the 16th. And we're going to go back a little bit and rehash that one. Actually, it's here on the 15th. Boom. That one right there is going away, possibly. But this one down below here, this is the one right here that they're calling for impact on the 19th. Okay, so that's the one that came off the 16th. Then as we approach the 17th here, let me just get this a little better. All right, there's a secondary one on the 16th. All right, now we're getting into the 17th. The opening frames of the 17th here. Let me just twist this a little bit better for you guys. And maybe even center it a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's just kind of work our way through the 17th here. So we're going through some of the opening frames. You see we have this little impulse coming off right there, just a small one. All right. So not much activity during the 17th here. All right, we're just kind of taking a peek at it because we don't have the other instrument. We have something small come off the top there. A little bit of activity over here on this side towards the end of the 17th here. And then we're going into the opening hours of the 18th. And that's pretty much it. There wasn't much to see on there. So let's now come on over to this, to our solar ham site here. And we are having an event, or an event just happened just a little while ago. It's still not up on the satellite yet. But if I could zoom into this here, we could take a peek at it. Whoops. Alright. Come on, computer. It's acting a little slow tonight. So here we go. You see this last little spike here at the end. This is what I'm talking about. This is our recent event that isn't up on the satellite yet because you can see how fresh it is. But during the meantime here, we had this event the other day, and then the slowing down, the like really relaxing of the sun or whatever. It went down below the sea level for a bit, and then you can see it climbing back up out, and then we have our little event, ba-boom, okay? And it sure would be nice to have the satellite back to see what induced this event right here. But since we don't, in the meantime, we'll scroll on down. We're having a little bit of an absorption event. This was a little brighter earlier. Okay, only a couple of sunspots right there, these two, and they're just beta, so nothing really to worry about. Let me zoom back out so we can use this a little bit better. Here's your CME from that we pointed out from the 16th that's due to hit the 19th, okay? And let's see if we can get the blue off of this. Oops. Let me go back. I'm trying to get the auroras up so you can see how bright they are. Come on now. Oh, the instrument's lagging. This is always fun to deal with during a live stream. So, let me just refresh this page real quick and get on with it. Boom. All right, here's your auroras right now. Pretty weak, pretty narrow, really faint. So that's good sign. We're not absorbing a bunch of energy at this moment. It looked like we had a little bit earlier today, but nothing too bad. Okay, so back out of this. I want to take a peek at the KP index real quick these days. Right now you can see how low it is. We just had this last event here, and then it died off right when the sun got really weak, okay? We had this small little impulse, but then it's really weak again. When we have this new impulse come in on the 19th, we're going to see another geomagnetic storm here. Probably KP5 or 6, something like that. We'll see. Maybe 4. It might be even smaller. Um, Actually, I think, where was it? I saw they were calling for. Anyways, let's open up the tracker here and see if they got any fresh data on this at all. Now we got a CME coming off the side here. You see this one going down? All right, at least it's not making direct impact on us, so that's a good thing. This latest CME is going away, so it's only the one that's on the 16th so far that's heading towards us. So that's a good sign right there. Let me move on from that. Please, instruments. Thank you. We did the tracker. Here's your little filament collapse over there. All right, let's go on to this. Okay, so here's your human for the day here. Forgive me, I'm really tired and I might be a little sluggish tonight, so just bear with me as we try to plow through this anyway. Alright, there you go. You can see our fields pumping along here pretty strong. We just came out of a small little scraping event, nothing too big, nothing really to worry about. There was a little weakening right in this area, but it came back to life pretty strong, and we're pumping along. We're actually having some small little event right here as we're doing this right now. So, but we talked about this last night and how this works. So I hope you guys understood that and enjoyed that show. Okay, now let's move on to here next. Okay, so when we have these inbound waves of energy that cause the core to heat up, the magma to swell, the core to swell, all that puts pressure on the underside of the crust and pushes out this SO2. This is sulfur dioxide here, and I also have the fires on in the background, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it over to here for a moment and zoom in on this area for a moment. You can see these corresponding fires, these yellow ones and all these red dots throughout the screen here. Okay, so we're having fires induced by underground gases and pressure and heat coming up through perforations, okay? What I wanted to point out in this is this nice new little dark spot here. We have had a little swelling and a lot of this gas coming out. There was a little relief period, and then I seen a new swelling event starting to happen here, and we have this little spot right here in Northern California, and I thought maybe, oh, is this a volcano or something? So I went and looked it up here on the USGS site, if that'll come up. There it is. Oh, I still got this pulled up. We'll look at that later. So right now we have this little plume coming out of Northern California here. There seems to be some old volcanic feature there that we'll go look at when we go to the earthquake report. All right, so something brewing up here, pushing out a lot of sulfur dioxide. It just in like It's almost in the border of California and Oregon. I think it's up in Oregon, actually. Anyways, let's just pull back and take a little sample of our country. You can see the other half is still bleeding out, all right? And you can see the wind takes these plumes and streams them around and stuff. So there's a bunch of fires in this area too. Let's see, pick up these red dots. It's red on burgundy, so it's kind of hard to see all the little red dots that are in there, but there's a bunch of fires, corresponding fires all around that area. Kicking up again because we're having pressure building up again underneath. Anyways, now let's move around the world a little bit. Hawaii still, Oahu has a small plume. The main island has a plume now and a little fire. I don't know if you can see this little yellow dot right here. But there's a heat plume right in the center of the volcano on Hawaii now. So then we come over here to China. You can see it. There's a lot of that sulfur dioxide coming out through there now. So this whole map darkened a little bit from before. We had a little ease of pressure, and the volcano that was up in Iceland like subdued a little bit because it was about to go off. And now I think this pressure that relieved, we're starting to have a little bit come back. Nothing too bad, but look how all these fires here correspond in this area with all these plumes and stuff. Okay, now let's come over here to the earthquake report. I got it on this one right now for a reason, because this was our 6.7 that we had at the Philippines, all right? Now, that was the quake I was showing you earlier. And a little while ago, this actually said 6.8. They've downgraded it again. So, I'm a little suspicious about this now because the way they're downgrading this one so much, and yet it looks so violent. It did so much damage here. There's this tsunami alert right here, too, that went with it. So I clicked on that, and we opened it up. And here's our little tsunami alert, but there was no tsunami, okay? It says no tsunami warning advisory. Boom. But right here, when you click on this, let's see, we can push guys in just a tad bit closer here. This was the little advisory given from this earthquake in the Philippines, and their magnitude says 7.2. This is NOAA's site, okay? NOAA gives it a 7.2, and they gave it a 6.8, now a 6.7. That was a pretty violent quake. I watched the damage it did, and there was a small tsunami that was created. It wasn't much, but it did toss around a few boats, so there was a small tsunami that was created by this 7.2, okay? I believe this quake to be a little bit stronger than what USGS is reporting, because I saw the shaking in these videos violently, and that tells me it was, it was a hefty quake. And the depth on it too was not very deep. It's 78 kilometers, so that's not a very deep quake, but not a very shallow one as well. So now let's back out of this and go into our regular report for tonight. So can we please have the map? Thank you. Oh, delays. All right, there we go. So here we are in our region where our deep quakes generate, and there's not much going on there. This is a 4.9 on the Kermadec at a depth of 10. So that kind of looks like 5 energy that's being, diverted along these plate boundary lines. All right, we probably had some deep quake there yesterday, and we're seeing residual energy enter up into the system. Here's a 4.6. That's a little deeper at 192. So that's 4.8. So we got that high 4, almost 5 energy going into the system. It drops off of 5.5 right here at a depth of 10. Over here we have this one at a depth of 4.2. This is semi-deep at 323. Then we have this 4.9 here at a depth of 63. So that energy moving across, going through the system. Up here, this is our 6.7 at a depth of 78. Now, we had a 6.1 over here the other day that Dutch was talking about. I was talking about as well. And that potential for that 6 energy is still in the area. Another thing that's been happening is energy is being dumped off here. Let me zoom a little bit. Right in this area instead of the fulcrum point. So what I'm going to do real quick is we're going to go back to all magnitudes. Or no, 7 days. There it is, 2.5 and plus. All right, this little region right here. Let's pull it over, take this down. All right. So instead of dumping them off at that fulcrum point, we have 2 quakes here. One of them being a 5.7. I bet you that was almost a 6. The way they're cheating on these numbers, this is probably a little bit higher, but we've had a 5.7. That's a pretty good quake right there, backed up by a 4.5. So some of the energy that's moving along this plate boundary line is dumping off not on the boundary, but out here in the ocean, or right here, this 6.1, all right? And just on the other side, up here with the 5.7, all right? Nothing here at this fulcrum point. It seems to be all jammed up and locked up. And come over here. We had our 2 quakes for the day. Nah, just one. Right here, this orange one right here is a 4.3. So that mid-range 4 energy going over the hump right there. Okay, so we still have this gap right here is still naked. This plate boundary line right here. We've had energy on both sides. Hopefully that's enough to relieve it. But don't be surprised if you still see one along the plate boundary line here. Also, here in this little weak spot right here in the Himalayas, where in Nepal right here, where we've been seeing quakes as well. So we might see a little of that mid-range 5 to 6 energy creep into this area here, jump to fulcrum point, and get over here, dropping off something here, up here, and then going into the Middle East. Let me go back to 1 day all magnitudes because, whoops, the other one kind of throws you off, makes you think there's a bunch of quakes. All right, so there was our 1 quake we covered there. It has gotten a little energy over here to 4.1 at a depth of 10 at Greece here. Okay, so we're going to see more of this energy. Maybe watch out here up in Italy. We have the pressure building under this volcano here. And then out to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, all right? So kind of a quick little report. There's 4.1 up there. A 4.2 right there. Ooh, that one has a tsunami alert on. Oh, that was the other one. Yeah, never mind. We already saw that. Can I have that back there? All right, there we go. And just a couple others real quick. These small ones here on the San Andreas, 3.0. Not much. Couple of little small ones here at the pumping, 2.5. Nothing there, really. All right, so this little segment right here is naked with no quakes in it. This last one right here and this one are 4 point some odd energy, low 4 range. So we could see a 4 right along here in the Juan de Fuca, possibly right here at our fulcrum point where all 3 come together right there. So there might be some magnitude 4 energy coming over and coming into this area. Cocos Plate's barren, nothing on it right now. Small quake here, 4.5 at a depth of 190. So that's it. You can see that the lull that we had has kind of kept things quiet. We did have one good release over here, this 6.7, which I think is going to be, in my book, let's go halfway. Let's go 7.0. Okay? because that's kind of what Dutch does. He takes the high number and he takes the low number and goes in between the two. So NOAA's saying a 7.2, they're saying a 6.8. So we had roughly a good 7.0 right in this region. And if you go look at the video and stuff, you'll see that we'll show some more of that video maybe of the shaking. You'll see it's quite violent. No, that was Dubai. Here, it was quite violent and did some significant damage. So I believe that's quake to be a little. We don't need to look at it now. I believe that quake to be a little stronger than what they're telling us. Okie dokie. So I think that was all of that space stuff, earthquakes. Yeah. All right. So here we are to the forecast. Let me get this little loop playing there. Let me get this kind of shiny for you guys so you can see it. Not much has changed too much on this forecast. We still have this big, huge monster storm to deal with when it comes together and marches through there. This one as well is no slouch. I'd be watching out for that one as well. Especially with inbound energy from the sun that can enhance this and intensify it. Your bombogenesis that they're talking about on the news, the quick intensification of these storms is partially caused by this energy that we get absorbed by the sun. All right, so here we are. Current conditions, big band of rain going through the East Coast right now. This is the nighttime of the 17th. We have a storm coming on shore here in the West Coast as well. All right, that's me and my fidgeting, trying to get you the best picture I can. So, all right, so nighttime of the 17th, going into the morning of the 18th there. You see all this offshore. Whew, guys dodged a bullet. Morning of the 18th, storm moving in West Coast. There's noontime, a little intensification, some severe weather possible by the end of convection in this storm coming in here in the Northern California area. There's the nighttime of the 18th with turning to snow in the Sierras. The morning of the 19th, still snowing through northern Nevada, moving into the Rockies. This is the morning of noontime of the 19th. As this thing pushes into the central part of the country, you see this low building right here, this frontal boundary with the moisture here. It even shows from right here, this is noontime with a small little dot of possible intense thunderstorms there. Then into convection, it's still there with that possibility for intense thunderstorms in the middle of Nebraska right there. That's at the end of convection. Going into the nighttime, it dissipates a little bit, but it's still there in the morning, gathering strength. There's the noontime, and then kind of dissipating by the end of convection. So this new storm coming in probably breaks it up a little bit, but then it gathers strength again. That moisture's still there. This is the nighttime of the 20th going into the morning of the 21st. It intensifies right through here, Louisiana, Alabama, up into Tennessee. Okay, they're showing red in this one now, okay? That's the morning of the 21st. You're going to be waking up to severe weather. It's still there in the noontime, especially down in Louisiana. By the end of convection, it looks like it weakens, all right? If this is the 21st now. Anything that happens on the 18th, which is going to be today, this next coming day here, anything that comes off the sun today will be affecting the weather here on the 20th, either enhancing it or not, okay? Enhancing it or not. But at this point, this is the end of convection on the 21st with severe weather going into Alabama now. This whole storm wrapping around has a lot of wind, a lot of water in it as well. So flash flooding. Then as it moves into the eastern part of the states here, we got this is the nighttime of the 21st with the icing event here in New York. Still severe weather down there. This is the morning of the 22nd. Okay, still icing up here in New York. This is the noontime. Still icing up in New York. Still these thunderstorms, severe weather back through here. This is the end of convection, sundown, with severe weather off the coast. Still icing up through, going into Vermont, New Hampshire. Still severe weather down in Georgia. So the tail of this thing drags through Alabama, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and then as it finally moves offshore here, dropping snow up here still in Maine, it has this whiplash, this like scorpion whiplash tail effect right here that brings severe weather possible in the morning of the 23rd. Okay, so let's back real quick. Do you see all this hidden low back here? Sneaks in onto the tail, latches onto the tail of this moisture, and brings a new little system right here. The morning of the 23rd, gathering strength right there during the noontime hours, and then going offshore by the end of convection. Still a bunch of snow up behind it there. Okay, so that was the end of the 23rd. Here's the morning. Whoops. This is the morning of the 24th right there, nice and clear. Noon. The end of convection. Some snow moving into the midsection, creeping in up there too. There's the nighttime of the 24th. The morning of the 25th. Noon. Convection. Nighttime. A little bit of icing possible in Nebraska on the night of the 25th. Still snow up through here and stuff. The morning of the 26th. There's the noontime. The end of convection. There is the nighttime at the 26th. This cold air mass and this plume of moisture coming up from the south combine. That's the morning of the 27th. Noontime. The end of convection. You can see it starting to come together and gel together. That's the nighttime of the 27th going into the morning of the 28th. That'd be the noontime, convection, and then the nighttime of the 28th with this big event hitting right here, like New York, Long Island, up through up through Nebraska, or New Hampshire, Vermont, up into Maine there. And this might change depending on what happens 3 days prior to this. On the 20, this is the 28th, so whatever happens on the 25th might influence this as well. There's the morning. Whoops. There's the morning of the 29th right there as it finally goes offshore. Noontime convection. Into the morning of the 30th, noon convection. So pretty clear for the rest of the way. A little bit of kick up down here with another storm moving onshore by maybe December 2nd there. But that's pretty far out. Okay, so there's your loop one more time playing while I get ready for tonight's spiritual report. So I hope you enjoyed the solar report, earthquake, and everything. While I get prepared for tonight's other part. Now, that's not what I want. Okay, we're going to change those. We got to get rid of this one. I got to close out some tabs here while we're kind of looking at that. Make room for opening a couple more tabs. Come on, computer. There we go. That's why we got to do this, because it won't run smoothly if I don't close out some of these. Please, let me close out some of these. So yeah, that earthquake that they said was a 6.7. Now we're gonna call that a little bit stronger than what they said, because you saw NOAA there reported as a 7.2, and I've been watching these for a long time, and I've seen ones that they reported even stronger than, that did less damage. This did a lot more damage compared to what they said. So now let's see if we can get on over here to my channel and open up some awesome images. And then also something we could pick up where we left off the other day with the Revelation 12, because I showed you several things there that happened. and that's not all of it. So let's just kind of come down to this real quick. That one. Alright, so we're going to give this one a shot for a minute here. Oh, come on now. Where's the sound?
And not only were we finding angels and Mary and stuff, but there's also demons, and I've also found Satan in this stuff too. So as we're looking here at this picture, what I'm talking about is in this mosaic of blotchy white dots that you see this picture is comprised of. When you zoom in really tight in on a picture, you'll see that it's made up of these splotchy little patches and dots. These new digital cameras make these little blotches. Well, hiding in these blotches are faces. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an eye right here and an eye right here. And when you make eye contact with these two eyes right here, you'll see the mouth fall into place down here. It's snarling. If you look, it's got some kind of streaks or horns or something, or wrinkles coming out of its head up here. And this is some kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities, but this is what I'm talking about, and hopefully you can see this here. This is a pupil right here of an eye. This is a pupil of a bigger eye. Here's the whites of the eye, the white of this eye. These two eyes. Once you look at those, you'll see it falls into place. Maybe I'll pull back a little bit. You can see a little bit better. Zoom in. Right about there is good. And you can make out there's teeth here in this mouth. There's a corresponding mouth with these eyes, wrinkles going across the nose here. This is some kind of demon or principality. And it's tucked in the way in the corner of this picture, way back up in here, and you can't even see it as in a normal picture, but you zoom in, swing it over, zoom in, and you can see this face just appear. And there's more faces in this stuff too, but this one's really defined and pretty dominant in this picture. So I want to...
Okay, guys, that's the spiritual realm right there. All right. It looks odd, but that's what I'm capturing. All right. I'm just bringing you the stuff I capture. All right. Now there's some more on this, so we're just going to continue a little bit further.
Start off with that one. Hopefully you guys can see this one.
Whoops.
Okay.
What's going on?
So in this sequence here, I've got my camera pointed at the couch now because I've been capturing activity around this couch. And one night I was just sitting on my couch there praying and wasn't really thinking of capturing anything. Here I was just sitting here praying before I started taking pictures or doing my thing, and it was already running. And lo and behold, there's some kind of demon up here. You'll see some green wings over here kind of flapping. And it lifts up my bike and spits a bolt of energy on it.
Fiery
I had no
arrows.
idea this happened until I went back through my pictures and stuff.
Fiery darts.
I put this series into motion in a flip book, and I realized, oh my goodness, look what happened. It picked up my bike and spit a bolt of energy on it. This one you can't really see the face too well, but you can make out the wings kind of flapping. We'll pull it over this way a little more. There we go. And this thing turns, picks up my bike, lifts it up, and spits a bolt of energy on it. Okay, there's that. I'll let you look at that one for a second longer. Okay, in this series here, I'm sitting on the couch again praying, camera set up, and you'll see a purple streak, a bolt come in here, right there, boom, and it hurt. You can see my reaction to it. So we'll let it run again. Here I am sitting here praying. There's all kinds of stuff jumping around in the background, and then zap right there. And that was a real one. I could feel it. And now when I go back, we're going to go back to the top of that bolt and zoom in on the face. Okay, so here's the frame out of that sequence of me getting hit with that bolt. You can see the bolt coming down here. It's got a kind of a purple hue to it or whatever. And then we're going to start zooming into the face up top here, and it's going to be Satan's face. So, you guys ready to see this? If not, you might want to stop the video at this point. But I do not glorify this at all. I do not like to give him attention, but it's important to know that he's real, because he wants everybody to think that he's not real. I think you might be able to see this face without me pointing anything out yet. There we go.
Oh no.
Okay, so
It's not capturing it too well.
if you look right here at this eye, this is his crazed eye. The other on the other side is bigger. It's the all-seeing eye. It's a little out of proportion, but then you can make out the side of his face, his jawline coming down, the bottom of his chin, his face going up here. Here's his mouth with some evil kind of grin on it. You can see his ear coming out over here. Make out horns coming up. And this is in that mosaic of dots again, but these faces pop out and they're more prominent. You can see this one really stands out. And that's Satan right there. You can even make out some wings coming up here. And he's mad. He's mad because I'm praying. And he's spitting bolts of energy at me and spitting on my bike and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So, it's important that you guys know that this entity is real. He's here right now, causing chaos all over the place. I'm sure you guys can see that. And I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm just doing this to inform you guys that this is what I'm capturing, and this stuff is real, and you can see it attacking me. Just another few seconds here on this guy so you can see his face. Make out his ear over here, corresponding horns, eyes, smile, everything. That's Satan right there with his wings.
Alright.
Spitting some kind of bolt or something at me.
Let's go back to another one here. So during this time frame, first I showed you Nibiru and Nemesis. That happened on September 10th of 2017. Where is it? There it is. Then we had the star alignment 13 days later on the 23rd. Okay, then we had the baby being born in the garage 10 days later on October 4th. The next day, October 5th, Marian angels showed up. Then I showed you some other angels that showed up there during that month. Then the next week, those demons and Satan started attacking me. Okay. Now we come to this phase, and we're going to play this video for you real quick.
These faces that I've been showing you in the last few videos that are in the etherical or in that mosaic that I was talking about are not only taking place there, but now they're taking shape in our clouds. And with this new filter, I was able to go through some of these pictures, and it really makes them pop now. So if you can't see it yet, there's an eye here, here's the nose, a mouth down below, here's an ear coming back up, the jaw running down, little pointed chin, and this face seems to almost be bisected. One half is like a goblin, and this other half looks like almost like a Wolverine or a Ewok type character. So let you look at that for a minute. And this was pretty faint in the original picture, but now with the filter, it really makes it pop. So hopefully you guys can see that now. And then I'm going to bring you some more. Just real quick here, I wanted to show you the unfiltered version. This is the original right here compared to this one right here, where you can make it a lot better.
Okay. You know, full screen that second. There we go.
Okay, one more, and this one right here, you can make out we have an eye here and an eye right here. Here's the nose, and here's some lips. It looks like he's blowing. You can make out his ear over here, horns and stuff coming up, his eyebrows. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better. An eye, the nose, the lips. Okay, so I wanted to show you that one with the filter, so you can see.
Alright, so then this stuff starts happening. And now I got giant faces in the clouds that follow me around everywhere I go. Even if I go out of town to a different town, these faces in the clouds follow me everywhere I go. It's distracting. It's hard to drive. It's hard to do anything without looking up at the clouds and seeing this stuff going on. So for me, it's a challenge to just stay focused on regular everyday life. Just trying to do errands and driving around without being distracted by this stuff in the sky. It's all over the place. I'm surprised that nobody has caught on to this yet, because it is running so rampant now in the sky. I can't believe that it hasn't made the news yet, but I guess I know why it hasn't made the news. So all this stuff, since the Revelation 12 sign, right before it and right after it, all this stuff starts taking place to me. Alright, and that's where we kind of
His eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth. That's
where we kind of get to this phase here, where you see this face in the sky, just like another face. And I could show you tons more faces. It's all over my channel. You could go see them better when you watch the original, instead of me trying to tilt the screen with the camera, doing all this funky stuff, trying to show you the most important information ever on my rinky-dink setup. But I gotta do what I gotta do. Alright, there's your image. Let's clean this up a little bit, get the pointer out of the way.
His chin and beard, almost
oh, cool, we came back
around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it. See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event, and I'm going to show you more of what happened here. Okay, here I've taken about 7 or 8 of those pictures and put them together in a flip book, and you can see the different images, and that this event, is taking place here, because there's more that happens here. Okay, so starting here, we're going to go forward a little bit here through a lot of these images, all the way to right about here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus' face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it.
Okay, this also happened on Easter. Okay, I cannot instill that enough in you guys. This event happened on Easter. I don't know what else to say, but there sits our beautiful image to read by tonight. Where did you want me to start again? Oh, this way. Okay. Excuse me. You are my beloved child. I chose you before the foundation of the world to walk with me along paths designed uniquely for you. Concentrate on keeping in step with me instead of trying to anticipate my plans for you. If you trust that my plans are to prosper you and not to harm you, you can relax and enjoy the present moment. Your hope and your future are rooted in heaven, where eternal ecstasy awaits you. Nothing can rob you of your inheritance of unimaginable riches and well-being. Sometimes I grant you a glimpse of your glorious future to encourage you and to spur you on, but your main focus should be staying close to me. I set the pace in keeping with your needs and my purposes. So cast your cares on me, and I will sustain you. Carrying your own burdens is wearing you out. Your shoulders are not designed for carrying heavy loads, so I want you to learn to cast your burdens on me. The first step is to recognize that something is weighing you down. Next, examine the difficulty to determine whether it is yours or someone else's. If it isn't yours, simply let go of it and leave it behind. If it is your problem, talk with me about it. I will help you see from my perspective, and I'll show you the way forward. Be prepared to take certain actions as needed, but don't let problems weigh you down by becoming your focus. Make a concerted effort to cast your cares on me, for I have very strong shoulders. And simply do the next thing in joyful dependence on me. Be encouraged by my promises to sustain you, to hold you up and provide what you need. I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. Okay, I hope that brings you guys some comfort, a little bit of peace of mind. Okay, just know that everything that's happening is happening for a reason. We're in the season, and it's happening for a reason. And even though it doesn't make sense quite yet, you'll see at the end, looking back, you'll see how everything was all laid out perfectly. But until then, you can't really do that. So, from this perspective, look backwards from what you got already and see how smooth things have gone to get you to this point so far. And if it doesn't seem like your life has been all that smooth, there's other people out there suffering too. So, hang in there, stay strong, keep the faith, keep praying for each other. We pray for each other's endurance, for strength. He gives you strength. Ask him for strength and pray for that strength to go to others, to give them endurance, to make it through these tough times. This is a glimpse, like I said, a little glimpse of heaven, a little foretaste of what's to come, to spur you on, to encourage you in these final days here, not to give up, that there's a finish line. It's a real finish line. This is a real race. It actually means something. So keep digging away and keep helping each other and praying for each other. We're gonna see glory here. We have victory already. It's just a matter of time now. All right. So hang tough, everybody. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next video, I'll be back. I am back, can't you tell?